But let's talk about Swamp Thing for a second here. If you're listening to this, by now you probably know that the Swamp Thing show on the DC app got canceled. And a lot of people think that it had something to do with the Faith not being there from the now AT&T, Time Warner, Warner Media, whatever. And while, yeah, you're probably more right than you think, a lot of other people are talking about how it was the lack of money from North Carolina where they were shooting, the tax incentives and all that kind of stuff. They said that they were going to be offered $40 million in tax incentives. That's basically half the budget of the first season. Okay. Well, then all of a sudden they say, oh, well, there was a snafu. You're only going to get, I think, like $12 million. Oh, okay. So we're only going to get $78 million? And that's the cost of the first season, which was supposed to be 13 episodes, dropped down to 10, and now canceled after one episode, which was critically acclaimed. I haven't heard a bad thing, for the most part, about the Swamp Thing show. Derek Mears playing Swamp Thing, James Wan producing. I mean, come on, the guy saved the Fast and Furious franchise, and he's a horror director. Made an amazing Aquaman movie that may have been 30 minutes too long. But still, it was a good DC movie. Horror guy. You want him on your Swamp Thing show. I watched the first episode. I loved the first episode. It was great. But now you got to wonder, because the budget of something like a Man of Steel or a Batman v Superman or a Justice League or even an Aquaman is going to be well over the $150, even $200 million mark. And that's just the initial budget. That's not even counting for how much promotions are going to be. Because if you don't know, what happens is, if you want to know how much money a movie really has to make back, you take their budget and you double it, and that's how much it is for promotions. And that's how much the real budget is when you include marketing and stuff like that. So basically what's going on here is, sure, North Carolina stopped giving them, $38 million? Was it? No, it was, they dropped it down to, they cut them off at like 38. No, more than that, 28. I don't know. I can't do math, but they said 12 million is all you're getting, not 40. So DC says, okay, that's it. Show's done. But why is that? Why? If they had faith in the character, they wouldn't have said that. But if you think about it, deep down, I don't think DC has faith in any of their mystical characters. Constantine, make this a live-action show. Matt Ryan, perfect choice to play John. Perfect. The show is amazing. Not a bad word about it. It was on NBC, bounced around a couple nights, done after one season, ends on a cliffhanger. When did we see John again? On Legends of Tomorrow. I'm sorry, but if I have to see John Constantine in a lifeguard outfit, I'm going to kind of lose interest in John Constantine. That's not his whole bag, you know? Swamp Thing, amazing character. Where John Constantine debuted, he doesn't even have his own book right now. He's in Justice League Dark, which is a great book, don't get me wrong. But how can you take that book seriously when it's headed by Wonder Woman? She's like the leader of the team. Okay, just like the Justice League Dark movie, which was heavy on Constantine and Zatanna and people like that. Great. But you got to put Batman in it? He's got to be front and center? But yet, they put all their eggs into the basket for Doom Patrol, which I'm glad they did, because Doom Patrol was amazing, and I'm not talking negatively about that show at all. It was fantastic. I loved every minute of it. It's like a resurgence for the Brendan Fraser. But at the end of the day, it's like they didn't have any faith in Swamp Thing. You see how much money James Wan made for you with Aquaman. You figure you'd give him a little bit of a break to kind of get things going. I also heard rumors that they were going for a weekly procedural type. That's why they brought in Len Wiseman for directing. Which I don't know. I mean, they're not giving it any room to breathe. Plus, you have people saying that the whole merger with AT&T and Time Warner, that they're going to put out their own app or their own streaming service, and they're going to bring the DC streaming service into that, so you won't have multiple ones, which I'm not sure I'm even cool with, because I wouldn't pay for a Warner Brothers or a Warner Media streaming service just to get the DC stuff. Because I think you'd get the streaming stuff, but like the movies and the TV shows, but you wouldn't get all the comics out there that are on the DC streaming service app. That's the important part too, is to get all those comics. So that's fun.